It's April Fool's Day. The darkest dungeon of a once brilliant castle. A man hangs in chains. "You can't do this! It will be chaos!" he calls out. But his captor shakes his head. "To save my people, I can do anything I want to do. What consequences can there be at the end of all things?" the Grand Wizard tells him. The old man sags in his chains. "Millions will die! I beg of you, do not do this!" the old man says. But the Grand Wizard steps into the light. "Foolish Marlin, it has already begun," he sneers. Meanwhile, on 616 Earth, Deadpool's alarm buzzes. The merc with the mouth gets out of bed and saunters through his apartment, singing a jaunty tune as he makes his cup of coffee. He is in a good mood as he steps out onto the balcony. "Good morning, Brooklyn," he calls.
"Put some shorts on, you pervert!"
someone calls from the street. Wade turns away and smiles at the calendar as he passes it on the way to his armory. "Oh, God bless us, everyone! It's the most poolful time of the year!" he cheers. "Wade, where y'all at?" a voice calls from the bedroom. Wade pauses and glances over his shoulder. Uh-oh. Think, man, think. Who'd I go home with last night? Blind Owl? Diamondback? Is it Lockjaw? You know he's not really a dog, right? Wade whispers to himself. He turns back to the door to find Outlaw leaning against the frame. "You know I can hear you, right?" she says with a smile. "Y'all got time for one more bronco busting, Greenhorn?" she asks as she tosses Deadpool's jacket at him, revealing all her glory. Even though he has tons to do that day, Wade cheers and rushes across the room. "I guess I can squeeze in one more game of Naked Settlers of Catan," he says as he scoops her up and rushes back to bed. 4 minutes later, Wade leans back and smiles. Outlaw looks at him with a smile. "Wade, I don't get it. Why is it so goddamn important that you do pranks today?" she asks. "It's hard to explain, Inez," he tells her with a shrug. The woman looks down at the sheets, her eyes widening as something begins to slither around Wade's hips. But she pulls a giant rubber snake out. "Wade, damn you to hell," she says in annoyance. "Happy April Fool's Day," Wade cheers. Moments later, he is struggling to stand from several broken bones and a crater in his chest cavity as Outlaw gets dressed. 1 painful hour later, Deadpool is dressed and ready to start his day of pranks. But he stops in the kitchen as a portal opens up over his table. "Is that a dimensional portal? If it's the scrolls, I can be bought," Wade points out. But suddenly, energy surges around him and he is dressed as a Viking. Wade watches as a barbarian warrior steps through the portal and brandishes a sword.
"By the gods! I am no longer in my city of Zardath! Prepare to face the blade of Star the Slayer, demon!"
Star the Slayer bellows. He rushes at Deadpool as the portal closes behind him, swinging his sword wildly. Wade ducks under the attack and rolls over the table. "Wait, April Fool's Day. Is this a prank?" he asks as he ducks under another attack. "Am I being punked?" he says as he takes a step back. But Star swings the blade again and cuts him across the stomach. Deadpool looks down as his blood spills over the floor. "Hey man, I marks for commitment, but..." Wade hisses as he grabs a flying butter knife and rushes the barbarian.
"Cease speaking about your madness, creature!"
Star bellows. Wade rushes at him. "Mean? Too personal," Wade says as he begins to stab at the barbarian's chest. "Stab, stab, stabbity stab," Wade says as the dull knife bounces harmlessly off the well-muscled chest. "One of these is defo gonna puncture the skin, and then it's nasty infection time for you, phonin'. Stab, gouge," Deadpool says. But Star grabs him and lifts him into the air.
"Return me to my kingdom, monster!"
he bellows as he rushes them both towards the window. Deadpool continues to try and stab, but to no avail. "Stab, puncture, poke, gentle prod," Deadpool says right before the barbarian leaps out the window. Deadpool plummets through the air and watches the barbarian suddenly disappear. Ah, Cocoa Pebbles! It's a crisis! I knew it! He whispers, right before slamming headfirst into the pavement below. Deadpool slowly struggles to his feet. He looks over to find Star's sword on the pavement. Hey, neat! Free sidewalk sword! Tubular! Deadpool gasps as he stands. His bones pop as they pull themselves back into place. Larry, I'm so glad I found you, darling, a woman calls out. Wait, who's Larry again? Wade asks. Deadpool turns as a cute redhead rushes up to him, but the woman ignores his questions. Dearest, I have a confession. I went to the spring ball and I kissed Buzz Baxter. The woman confesses as Deadpool looks around. His costume has changed and a colorful banner is floating above their heads. Deadpool slowly reaches out and pokes the squishy heart. Huh, springy. Boingy, 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 he says. But the woman grabs him by the face and pulls his focus back to her. Larry, you don't understand. I kissed Buzz Baxter on the lips. How can I ask you to go through with our marriage? She asks. Wade shrugs. Lady, I still smell like full-on cowgirl funk. Hell, bring the Buzz guy to the honeymoon. I don't care, Deadpool tells her. She looks at him in shock. Can you truly forgive me, Larry? She asks. Deadpool nods. Sure, it's this Buzz Baxter guy I'm getting a little sick of. Hey, do you hear the sounds of tank treads? Wade asks as he turns around. Another portal opens up, and a World War II Jeep comes flying through. Look sharp, lugheads, or this could be the last mission of Sergeant Storm's Raging Raiders. Sergeant Storm shouts. Meanwhile, Star the Slayer lands back in the ancient castle. He stares around in shock until he finds the Grand Wizard sitting on his throne. Welcome to my castle, Star. I am a wizard, and my name is Wally, the Grand Wizard says as he reveals his face. Star stares at him for a moment. I've never heard of you, he admits. Wally nods in sadness. That's the crux of it, isn't it? He says with a sigh. He stands and leads Star to the balcony. My entire life I've tried to prevent this, the forgetting, and I discovered another kind of multiverse. But it is not a series of timelines, you see, but of realms that are disappearing, Wally says as he motions to the sky. Cracks have begun to appear in the stars, views into other realms, of genres long past. Once beloved planets of romance and monsters and gunslingers and so much more. Behold, the genreverse, Wally says as Star looks on in wonder. Back in 616, Deadpool looks down and sees that he is now dressed as a sailor. Oh, thank goodness. I was afraid I was going to be dressed like the bad guys in all the World War II movies, he says with a sigh of relief. But it doesn't matter as Sergeant Storm's raiders open fire on him, the rounds ripping through his chest. He's dead, Sarge, one of them says as the soldiers gather around him. Sergeant Storm nudges Deadpool with his boot. This is our guy, all right. The one Wally said was our destiny. Pick him up, raiders. We'll take him back to the wizard, Storm grunts. But Deadpool has had enough. Okay, you combat-happy Joes are ruining my April Fool's Day. I've had enough, guys, Deadpool says as he jumps to his feet and starts swinging, knocking out several of the raiders in moments. Since I got up this morning, I've been slashed at, defenestrated, I've been felt up and shot multiple times. I mean, I was sort of okay being felt up, but the shooting? That's where I draw the line, Deadpool says as he kicks Sergeant Storm in the face. Finally, the raiders have fallen and Deadpool stands over them. Also, just for grits and shins, who the hell is the wizard? He demands the now unconscious soldiers. Deadpool looks up as a book suddenly floats before him. Its pages blow open in the wind as energy pulses around them. I am here, Pool of the Dead. I am of a different genre from you. A different teller of tales guides my will, the book says. Deadpool stares at it for a moment before nodding thoughtfully. I definitely have a concussion. he whispers. Wally's face appears in the pages of the book. Come with me, Pool of the Dead, he orders. Dude, you're mispronouncing my name. What dimension are we going to? 501? 409? Not a 900 number, I hope. Wade shouts as energy hits him, and he is suddenly teleported away. Moments later, he is standing in the ancient castle. Wally stands before him with Star at his side. You are in the dimension of fantasy, Wally explains. Deadpool looks down at his new costume of wizard robes. Cool. So, where's Dazzler and the bucket of syrup? He asks before turning to Star and giving him back his sword. Wally leads him out to the balcony and shows him a world that is slowly fading away. Wally explains that the forgetting is overtaking them, that soon their world will fade into nothingness as everyone forgets it. Deadpool raises an eyebrow. Wait, fantasy is fading? That doesn't even make sense. There's those damn Harryfoot movies. And what about that TV series with the weird last season? Fantasy is everywhere, Deadpool points out. Wally holds out his hand, and magic comic books begin to circle them in the air. I know not of which you speak. I am referring to the sacred texts, he explains, holding up a Wally the Wizard comic and Planet Terry. So it is with all such tales of children's whimsy. We all only exist as long as people remember. But your kind, your caped kind, are nearly all that exist now, Wally explains. This all seems a little meta, Wallace J. Wizard. So what? You're sending people from those realms to invade the old 616? Wade asks. But Wally shakes his head and smiles, explaining that he will open portals so that those of the genreverse can replace the people of the 616. Every genre will return to its former glory, and you will be pushed out, cancelled, taken off the stands entirely, Wally tells him, explaining that he tested his portals on Deadpool because he knew that he wouldn't be able to warn anyone, as no one would believe him. Cold? Also hurtful? But I got friends, partner. They will believe, Deadpool tells him. Wally nods and begins to weave magic. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps it is best if you stay, he says as he calls forth a fiery dragon. Deadpool stands ready to fight, but it is Star the Slayer that leaps into battle. Star? What are you doing? It's a flame dragon, Deadpool shouts. Star plunges his blade into the fiery monster. I am being what I was meant to be. Star the Slayer. My time is past. Go save your world, Red Demon, Star shouts. Deadpool turns as a portal opens off the balcony back to his world. He leaps through it without thought and disappears. Now, he just has to gather his allies to fight against Wally's army. But there is one slight problem. Right. So Doctor Strange Jr. is out to kill us all? Spider-Man asks in disbelief. You think we forgot what day it is, Deadpool? Or the time you put X-Lax in the stew at Xavier's? Scott Summers asks. Psylocke readying her sword behind him. Ooh, let me kill him! Just once, she growls. Cable turns him away next. It is only Ben Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, that believes him. Sounds like all kind of nonsense, Wade, Ben says as he pours himself a cup of tea. He stomps towards the Fantastic Four hangar. Ain't you coming? We're gonna need a ride, right? Ben calls over his shoulder, and Wade is shocked that someone believes him. Oh, happy frabulous day! Hey, you got a sword I could borrow? Wade asks as they jump into the Fantasticar. They head out into the city just as Wally's forces begin to invade. Wade leaps clear of the car and slices the head off a dragon as Ben rumbles forward and slams into Sergeant Storm's tank. Next, Wade leaps to fight against a group of black and white ninjas. You may have defeated the giant monster, killer, but now you face the Brothers of the Dragon, they tell him. Who of the what now? Wade asks as he draws his swords. He defeats the ninjas, only to be set upon by the girls from My Love Comics. Moments later, Ben and Wade are surrounded by a group of gunslingers. "We can't win, Mr. Thing. There's too many of them," Wade says. But Ben shakes his head and motions to the sky.
I wouldn't be too sure about that, Wade. I might have called some pals,"
Ben tells him. Wade looks up in shock as the rest of the heroes of New York descend from above. Wade watches as the heroes leap into the fight, taking on the forces of the genreverse. Moments later, Wally the Wizard appears through a portal, hands held high in surrender. I surrender. We can't fight your powers or your popularity. We are destined to the void." But Wade steps to the front of the group of heroes. "Wait, listen, I have an idea about that. You just have to be remembered to save your realms, right? What if we built you a place where people pay big bucks to remember useless crap like you guys?" he asks. Iron Man looks at him. "Wade, you don't mean..." he begins. Wade nods and pulls out a blueprint drawn in crayon. "I do, and you get to fund it, you lucky capitalist so-and-so," he says as he holds up the blueprint. "I'm talking about our only growth industry aside from prisons, a theme park." Exactly 2 years later, Wade rolls up to the Genre World theme park and joins Tony and Ben. Tony shows him the blueprints for the upcoming Weird World themed roller coaster. Ben joins him.
"You know, I feel like we're doing something more than just saving lives here. It feels like we could be reminding people. It ain't all about mutants and fighting Galactus, you know,"
Ben says. Wade nods. "Mr. Grimm, I gotta say, thank you for believing me when no one else would. I just want to shake your hand if that's cool," Wade says as he holds out his hand. Ben reaches for him, but suddenly a burst of electricity rips through his body. "Megawatt Joy Buzzer! Did you forget what day it is?" Wade asks, but Ben's eyes widen in rage.
"It's murdering time, you louse!"
he shouts as he begins to chase Wade through the park. "Oh, that's one for the prank bank." Wade cheers. And that was the complete story for the Deadpool April Fool's Day special by Gail Simone. What did you think about this? Let me know in the comments down below, and like and subscribe to help out the channel. I'm Dan with Comicstorian, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.